It's going. Ta-da! So here we are, back to Guild, and I actually still have a QR code. Hey everybody! I'm going to go and introduce the elevator music and remove the curtain. Hi. So here we are, live at 5. Welcome back. New Year's Guild of all things, where I think this is the first time we've done something like this. Just an idea, but the idea was basically we all have lots of good ideas. We all lead amazing shows, and I don't know if you call them shows. I call them, yeah, they're shows. And it's not a podcast, or is it? I don't know. But anyway, these are the guilds that are active and happening, and we've never had a talk online with each other. Although to be fair, we've had a lot of crossover in terms of guest stuff. Anyway, hi everybody, how are you doing?
Pretty fantastic. Good. Awesome. Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year,
everyone.
Yeah. I am trying to. Okay, so make sure I don't. I'm slightly distracted with the changes in StreamYard, but we just go with it. How's everybody doing?
StreamYard also decided to be like, new year, new me, So.
New year, new me. And I'm like, wait, but I almost had you from like before. And yeah, and just like once you got your head almost wrapped around it, then of course it's gonna change on you. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be really cool, whatever they're rolling out. I have to watch the how-to videos. But yeah, how's everybody? I've still got a QR code up there that shouldn't be there because I haven't even mentioned it yet.
Where's that going?
Exactly.
Did we miss a magic opportunity?
No. Haven't mentioned it yet. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Where are your heads at? What's on your radar? I also threw out the idea if everybody has a question for all the other guilds, that would be kind of amazing. I know that I could definitely spend a little bit of time learning about what other people are doing in other spaces within our ecosystem. Sometimes I get like tunnel vision on the creator stuff, but yeah, Tristan, welcome. First of all, just everybody, thanks so much for agreeing to do this on short notice. Ish. I don't know. A couple of days ago, I kind of reached out to everybody. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing on January 8th?" But yeah, if you want to go ahead and, as we do, introduce yourselves, and just in case nobody knows or people haven't encountered you before. Tristan, I've not even caught the DePIN space guild space yet. It's like in my YouTube playlist of things to watch. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, go for it. Tell us who you are.
Yeah. So my name's Tristan, part of the super team that's based here in Berlin, running the DePIN guild, and we focus on really all of the impact that DePIN has, how it's going to be and is currently transformational in the way that we are building an economy in a future where machines are a driving force and machines need to interact with each other, and how we can interact with the economy behind that. And that's really the core driving thing behind DePIN, is focusing on these particular aspects. And so at the DePIN guilds, we talk to different companies that are engaged with us in various ways, whether it's through devices that are measuring something about the world around them. This could be it could be weather monitoring, it could be traffic and mapping out things around you. It could be a radio frequency environment. There's a lot of different various aspects that can be mined about the world around us. And yeah, we just focus on companies that are doing cool stuff in that space.
Nice. All right. And back to minimize here. Sorry.
I was gonna say, while you're minimizing me, I even got a DePIN toothbrush that
We would never do
monetizes.
with you, Tristan.
I think
What is
that
it
was
mean?
amazing. You do not need to be
Gamifying?
minimized.
Is that so it incentivizes or it tracks your toothbrush?
Yeah. It's like I have the app on my phone. I bought a toothbrush. It's called Brusho. They don't sponsor me or pay for me to do this anyway. I just thought it was like interesting. We'll see how good it ends up being, but it's pretty easy. I mean, I already brushed my teeth every day, so and I needed a new toothbrush, so it kind of worked out. So I was like, why not? Let's try this out. Let's see if I can earn enough in tokens to pay off the toothbrush. That's the goal.
That's
and
amazing.
then it would be a win-win. And if I can get a dentist appointment paid for out of it too, that's even a win-win-win, an even bigger one. So we'll see.
Alpha right there.
Yeah.
Yo, Lukas, well, I was gonna say, Arikia may not make it because she's down with a cold, but I think she may have passed the torch to Lukas. Media Guild, you guys are the newest guild, diving into crazy, all over the place. Media obviously having a huge impact on the internet and hopefully Web3 overall. But yeah, go for it. What are you guys into?
Yes, so both Arikia and me are also based in Berlin. And as you said, we're the youngest guild, basically, with the Media Guild. And we focus on how storytelling, messaging, and narrative design connects the audiences with the on-chain products and communities that we have in Web3, especially in the Solana ecosystem. So we're going to have a lot of Web3 companies, builders that know how to tell a story, because it's not always about a great product, for example, like a toothbrush that gives you tokens, but you got to see the benefits in that. And so we're going to do a lot of episodes about that. For example, we got the X402 episode coming up with Rish from the already doing marketing here right now with Rish from Solana themselves. And also we'll be doing some episodes that draw inspiration from current events in the Solana and Web3 ecosystem. That's basically it. Sadly, only one half of the guild leads is here. Not sure if Arikia will join as well. If not, get well soon.
Yeah, it's the dead of winter. Last time I looked, it was -8 degrees out, and it's winter in Berlin. People are just dodging illness like
-10 was it this morning here.
That's awesome. Oh, hey Jess, how are you? I assume you're in Munich, but I don't want to assume that. But I'm just guessing that you're in Munich because I don't know, you're Munich based. But yeah, how's it going?
It's great. Hello from cheery, equally as cold Munich. It's very rare for us to have the same weather at the same time, but we're down with the snow and the chilly weather, and it's beautiful. Thank you so much for having me on and coming up with this great idea, Paul. I really appreciate it. I think it's great that we can all chat together. So I do the product guild, and I started the product guild as a way to look at how to make good products in terms of UX, UI, design, research, things like that. Because we always talk about how the biggest problem in Web3 is UX, but nobody really wants to do the UX research or the UX work. They think of it just as sit down, make a pretty UI until someone's happy with it, when it's so much deeper than that. And then over the course of the last year, it's really evolved quite a bit more into all around product. And so I'm interested to see how 2026 takes the guild in terms of new topics, new features. Maybe we'll go more into not just product design, but product development. I think this will be a big year for compliance to come into play, into how we develop products in terms of features that we need on products. So understanding the compliance side, I think, will also be important on the product end as well. So really looking forward to this year so much. So good to be here with all of you amazing people, and everyone in the audience. Hello to you.
Thank you. I will say that I've tuned into almost all of the product guilds, and the way everything is presented and thought about is it's amazing. I think like the amount of depth that goes into the way you all present and share everything from start to finish and how to go about it. So yeah, huge fan of product guild. I will say that we in the past we've had also a developers guild. I think we are between DevRels because that's usually has in the past been the job of the DevRel. So as far as I know, that will be something that will come back together in the future. And I'll just go ahead and say Creators Guild. We've been around for 23 episodes, depending on when you start counting. I think I'm actually super relieved, like Lukas and Arikia have taken on some of the themes that I didn't even really feel maybe comfortable with as creators. It just, by default, those weren't developer topics. So I was like, I guess it's a creator topic. So we had to kind of maybe stretch it a bit to make it fit. And so much more comfortable now to have a media guild that can cover some subjects like storytelling or any of the, even security. We did a show about security, which is obviously, I mean, I think like any of us could do a show about security, right? Or maybe we should all be regularly doing shows about security because of all the things that, of all the ways to lose time and assets, security, super important. So I was glad to see that recently from Media Guild. So just in case anybody did your homework, which it totally wasn't homework, and mind you, anybody, please feel free to say anything at any time. If you have any questions for any other guilds, burning questions that you would like to ask in public, I would encourage you to raise your hand or just take the floor. I'm super curious myself, mainly because
I have one.
Yeah, what's up,
Jessica? What are you doing to get Paul to watch your guild? I mean, it seems like you're the only guild he's really paying attention to, so you must be doing something right.
I think it's just because Arikia and Lukas are so new. Theirs are amazing as well. I don't know what you're doing, Tristan, for him to not watch your guild. I think that's a more appropriate answer here.
One question at a time.
No, honestly, I will say I think out of I might be biased, but I think we have a very high quality to all of our guilds around. I think every single guild that we have amazing guests. We have really great experts running each guild, and I think the type of questions that we ask are really, really strong. So I think all of our guilds are absolute powerhouses. I think really what benefited me, Tristan, if I can be completely honest, was just that oftentimes my guild either went right before his or right after it. So he was already there. So
right place, right time.
Yeah. Secret timing.
Yeah. And by the way, if you ever do have a guild that comes right before or right after another guild, think about your timing. And because I feel terrible about having it run over time. And then I'm like, oh my God, like it's 7 minutes, like I'm 7 minutes into the next guild. And but yeah, I don't think we're doing that so much anymore. And also, I think one of the funny things is like I know that there are a lot of like important talks and important spaces that are happening on X in the Solana ecosystem. I try my darndest not to cross paths with any of those, but it happens from time to time. And like, yeah, I think it can really affect your turnout. And like also, I mean, yeah, like try to keep an eye on that. But obviously everything's a busy space, and there's a lot going on. So we do what we can. But I think we've actually gotten a little bit better at this over time. Also, just the availability of guests. I don't know if you all have had the same issue where you want to talk to people that are all over the world. Obviously, we have a global network of super teams, and I would love to connect with people from, especially on subject matter, from multiple super teams, people that are also like maybe even digital nomads. I don't know if you all have had these issues, but it can be pretty wild trying to track people down as they travel around the world from conference to conference or from whatever wherever they're camped out. But yeah, some of the best people seem to be like constantly on the move, which is fascinating. And I know we're all here, and this is Superteam Germany. But yeah, like the way this system exists is just pretty global. So amazing, but challenging. But having said that, we've also had like tons of amazing guests, and I feel super lucky. So yeah, it's just one of those things where sometimes you have to wait.
Yeah, definitely. I feel really bad on that because there was one time I had Phil from Airfoil on, and we were setting the time, and he told me he was going to be in Singapore on a certain date, but I got the dates wrong. And so he literally had just gotten off the plane, had taken like a 5-hour train or something, was running in the hotel, and he still came on air. So Phil, if you happen to be watching this, we love you. Thank you so much for doing that for me. And we promise to be better this year. But I think that's a great point, because I imagine, or hopefully a lot of other international guilds might be watching right now, just to kind of get some tips from us and possibly be guests on our guild as well. I think it would be fun to do crossovers with other guilds. Oh, don't spotlight me. It's not that important.
Okay, I just, sorry.
Maybe we can do crossover with other country guilds, things like that. So yeah.
To be fair, by the way, Creators Guild fully borrowed the idea from Superteam Nigeria from the get-go. We reached out to them, and they had this good thing going, and they have a really active, really lively one. It's like, I think they were having like one show a week, and they were having hundreds of people show up.
I mean, I will say it seems like Superteam Nigeria has a pretty big creative community, just based on like the like the results from different types of like on the Superteam Earn platform.
Yeah.
They have the bounties, and I feel like the Superteam Nigeria, or people from Superteam Nigeria, are always crushing it on the bounties.
They work.
Yeah.
You turn it out. I have a question. Can I ask my question?
Of course.
Lukas, how does it feel to have your book out, and did it meet your expectations?
Great. And yes, of course. Here it is. Nice. I was the one doing advertising for our next Media Guild episode.
Lukas, can you hold it up longer?
Hold it up longer.
Paul, can you spotlight?
Yes, I can. Okay, so
and
Lukas.
Then now Lukas go into it, please.
This just came out, though it's only in German for now. Probably I would need a good translator. Looking at you, Jess.
Have you heard my German?
It's amazing. This is why I'm saying this.
Oh man.
And this comes with an NFC chip integrated, which is tied to an NFT, of course, on the Solana blockchain, so that you have a digital proof that this is one of the limited editions. And I mean, I'm super happy that this is out now, because it's a lot of work. I mean, Jess, you can relate probably after releasing several books that this is a lot of work, especially if you go the self-publishing route, which is the Web3 spirit, right? But there's lots of things that you need to think of. So yeah, super happy about that.
That's amazing. I was so happy to see that pop up. I actually already recommended to a friend who does speak German, even though she's, I mean, as a lot of us in our community here, we often end up speaking English because that's the common language. But I already recommended your book to somebody who was asking, who does ask a lot of questions. I said, you know what? There's actually a book out about this, and it'll do a better job describing it than I will. But yeah, I mean, I kind of snuck up on me because I didn't know you were writing a book. You didn't mention that you're writing. Maybe I don't know. Did you tell? I've heard people say if they're writing a book or if they're working on a project like that, that it helps not to talk about it too much and just do it, because it can maybe get in the way of finishing it. I don't know if you have these sorts of issues, or if it was easy for you to write a book, or
not easy.
It takes
way longer than you. It takes way longer than you think. Probably if someone would have told me how much work and time you need to put into that, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Didn't I try to warn you?
Yeah, you did. I mean, I told people, I think I talked with Jess, of course, but also with Tristan, I think when we were in Istanbul at the Jupiter conference.
That's
I
a
definitely
year
talked
ago.
about that, but that was already the moment where the book was basically written. It was then revisions and that kind of stuff. So basically, while I was only writing, no one really knew, because I didn't know if I would go through with it. And yeah, so basically after I completed the writing process and started with the revisions and all of that.
Well, congratulations,
another follow-up.
Lukas. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a pretty huge accomplishment. That's really awesome. And I mean, I got to see a sneak preview, so I think it looks really good. It looks really good, and I highly recommend to people who are German speakers or learning German. There's no better way to learn a language than to read something that you're interested about in that target language.
Because Web3 is so easy and German is so easy, why not combine both at the same time? This is perfect.
Genau.
Yeah, genau.
Genau. To be fair, Tristan, I think you speak like what, 5 languages? So I'm like, yeah, it's like a dude, which is amazing.
Language genius.
Yeah.
Not a language genius.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a hobby for me. I really enjoy languages.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, like, was it difficult to find somebody that's gonna put an NFC chip in your book? Like, was that tricky?
Sorry, come again.
Was it difficult to find a publisher or a way to put the NFC chip in your book?
So what I did was I reached out to publishers, but I also was planning on doing the self-publishing route. Probably I would have needed to discuss with them. What I'm doing now is there's a standard edition where there's no NFC chip, nothing that comes with it, and the ebook, and also the limited edition. And I printed them myself, basically, the 100 editions, and I included the NFC chip myself because it was way too complicated for the printers to, what, you want an NFC chip in there? That's so I organized it myself and I prepped it myself, linked it to the NFT that I minted, and yeah, because otherwise it would be way too complicated to explain people. Especially the linking part. I don't know if you prepared NFC chips in the past, but linking them, and especially every number has the corresponding number as well, right? So it's not all the same NFTs, but basically book 1 is tied to number 1, number 99 to the NFT 99 out of the collection. So it would have been way too complicated to.
Sounds like a DePIN issue.
Oh.
Kind of. Could be. Maybe that's a good project idea. A special DePIN that focuses on book publishing.
Maybe, but I don't know if they. I mean, what I'm doing is I'm basically doing what I'm telling the people in the book, like try it out, do stuff like that, so they get the digital certificate with that. I'm not sure if maybe for limited editions, yeah, but you need. Then we're again at the storytelling part, make people understand why it's great to have a digital certificate. Not sure if for a fantasy book, people really, probably the number and the signature is enough for them.
I mean, it could be like there's like a limited edition collectible kind of thing. So let's take a fantasy novel, for example. Like maybe there's some type of like dragon or something that you get an NFT like art rendition special. Like you get there's like maybe 100 versions.
That would
there's
definitely
something different.
work. Tristan, we should stop talking about this here in a live stream.
Hey, I mean, I'm happy to put good ideas out in the world. Just it's nice to see people do them.
Yeah, we're the good guys from the Guild.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Trying to help people on future hackathons.
Does your book have an NFC? Does it get you into a special? Yeah, when I think like what people have done recently, like I don't know if anybody caught the Creators Guild where we were talking about the different things you can do on the different platforms. And one of Roach Wrights, he just released a graphic novel, and he had like alternate covers and also like some art printed on metal that went with the book if you got it at a certain level or whatever. So there's like all kinds of super creative stuff you can do when it comes to publishing. And maybe it does tiptoe into the DePIN sort of area because you are dealing with physical items at that point and maybe even printing processes. But crazy stuff, man. Super cool. I keep wanting to ask you questions about the book, but maybe I should just read the book.
So Lukas, where do you get the book? Where can we purchase the book before we move on to the next
standard
one?
edition everywhere that you can order books, basically, or at least all the German outlets. But yeah, and the special edition only through my website, like an old school NFT mint, but only with usual euros or dollars. You don't need to have any crypto for that. Because this is for the normies, right? We want to onboard all the normies to Web3. So if people want, they can pay in crypto, but yeah, on my website. So you can see the X account here, and then I'll put the link on my X.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, please share.
Now, enough advertising from my side.
Well, it's very cool, man. It's very cool. And I think like as an educational tool, which is like kind of like one of the main points of having guilds, like it's great to have a new educational tool out there. I don't know how you feel about when it comes to like the Web3 space, but I'd imagine it's probably a big challenge for everyone to keep up with the cycles of wonderful new shiny things. So trying to capture that into one printed work sounds like a huge challenge to me. Not sure if I could do that. I have trouble enough with Twitter posts and blog posts that I barely do. But congrats, and I hope it's not the last book that comes out of our community. And if anybody else knows of anybody else's stuff, please share. I was gonna say, like, Lukas, you are a musician, and I don't think we even mentioned that in the intros. But I feel like that sort of crossover when it comes to entering the Web3 space as a creative, and then discovering all these new things that you can do with it. Still, I guess we're maybe still waiting on the perfect music use case or how that's going to play out. And yeah, I don't know if you have any new thoughts on that, because I usually leave that up to other people as well. We've had a lot of musical guests on Creators Guild, just because music isn't quite my thing, but I'm a huge fan. But obviously, a lot of other people in Web3 know a lot more about it than I do. But so nice tangent. And anybody else have another specific question for another guild's lead that you're burning to ask and want to do it publicly in front of the world?
Well, Paul, I think you did the most guilds out of any of us last year. So tough, I guess kind of a tough question, but what was your favorite episode and why?
Whew. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's really tough.
I mean, this was in the group chat, so you had time to prepare.
I know. I had time to prepare, but this is like one of those things where like we had so many nice moments in so many of them, and so many unexpected moments where, you know, if you're following somebody's progress and their work online, and you've never spoken with them before, and the first time you're speaking to them is like live and having a live conversation, and they come up with things like that almost made us cry. I would say, like one of our guests, he had a number of health issues that I wasn't aware of, and you know, like he's putting out just tons of work he has like the PTSD, a military background, and just putting out like amazing work. And I just had no idea, and he would go into this, and it was just it was quite incredible to hear him talk about his process from sort of in depth from an angle that I didn't expect. But we have had, honestly, we've been so lucky to have like so many awesome creative people from the Solana ecosystem that I just would write them and just kind of hope that they would get back to us. And sometimes it would take a few months. I think one of the artists, I'm biased, but the artist spaces were super awesome. Trev Elvis, he's been on, I think, maybe on 4 of our episodes, maybe even 5, and not always on art, but watching him grow as an artist and just try the craziest new ways to get his work into these new formats, and just watching his process develop live is just super cool. So yeah, Trev Elvis, he just did the Solana Animation Festival, the 2nd annual Solana Animation Festival with Scuba Steve, supported by a number of the platforms. And that's like just a whole bunch of amazing content that comes together. And yeah, like Web3 Animation Festival, like we did a whole show on that, I think a little over a year ago, and that one was just awesome to hear people about their work and their process. Yeah, having the opportunity to geek out with everybody. I can't say I have a favorite show because almost all of them have been just a treat to talk to people and pick their brains and let them share whatever they want to about their work and about their process, and about the ways that they're excited with the same things that we're excited about, in terms of how the shift has changed their work, maybe not only from analog to digital, but of course digital to Web3 options. So yeah, I think so. Creators Guild is always also doing this thing that's like, you've got like the traditional art world, you've got creative people, you've got artists, you've got the art market, you've got all these forces that are swirling in the world. And then just recently, artists have had like this really great opportunity to sort of free themselves from a lot of the structures that would have like kind of kept them down in the past. So yeah, it's like it's like a fork in the road of history in terms of the way people are able to engage with a broader public, or the world. So yeah, we just are super lucky to have people who are eloquently able to share about that. And yeah, it's been great. Sometimes we don't have a show for a month or two, just because I'm waiting on getting the people that I want to hear from. So yeah, in a way, in a fast moving space, maybe it's a bit ironic to not be in a hurry in that respect, but sometimes it's always totally worth the wait.
Nice.
Ta-da!
I got a question for Tristan. And first of all, exactly, applause for Paul. So Tristan, first of all, maybe you can say again in 1 or 2 sentences what DePIN is, because I got the feeling that a lot of people don't really get it. But the real question is, why does DePIN need a blockchain at all? What breaks without it? So probably this is the question, or should be the question, for every product as well. Jessica, do we really need crypto, blockchain, whatever in there? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, on that point, like, crypto started as a payment method. Strongest as a payment method. Like, that's like the main thing there is. And then you have the smart contract layer where you can execute really interesting financial processes on top of the blockchain. So these are like the core things. And then you have to start asking questions into why are you using it for anything else other than these things. So in the case of DePIN, like really quick, it's decentralized physical infrastructure network. And so the idea here is that you have a network of physical devices that are doing something. Where you like to use a decentralized model or some type of distributed validation model is where you want to make sure that each of the nodes are behaving as you expect them to behave. So it's like In the payments parallel, you want to make sure that you don't have a misbehaving node that's telling you that a transaction occurred or didn't occur when it actually didn't occur. And so you have to enforce some type of consensus mechanism to make sure that, yes, all of the nodes in the system agree that such and such event occurred. You can apply this to really anything that occurs ever, and you can view anything that occurs as a transaction, so to speak. So for example, let's say that we want to validate that you are providing a, well, let's just take the weather example. So you're providing a weather measurement. So I'll just take the examples for those of us who are in Berlin. So like I live in my part of Berlin, and let's say 1 or 2 kilometers away, Lukas is living in his part, and then 2 kilometers away from that, Paul is living in his part. And so let's say we all get a measurement of the weather. My measurement is going to say 11 degrees. Your measurement is going to say 11 degrees. And then everybody's measurement should say something 11 degrees plus or minus like 0.1, 0.2. And if one of these nodes says something otherwise, then okay, so like that's really weird. Like why would it be 5 degrees? Or why would it be 15 degrees? So you have to have some way of agreeing with each other that like, okay, so this weather is what we expect it to be because all of these nodes are in agreement that the weather is 11 degrees and not 5 degrees and not 20 degrees. So this is one way that we can measure like consensus and provide truth to the people who want to know truth at the end of the day. So one of the other things that we have to think about is how can we validate and trust different nodes that are going to be producing some type of service? So in this example was weather, but in some examples it's compute. So you want to have, say, train an AI model on decentralized infrastructure. So you have to provision out resources. You have to have some way of some type of hypervisor, some type of middle that's going to provision out resources. You might say, hey, on my laptop, I want to provision out a portion of my hard drive to store data or a portion of my processing power to train an AI model. And then you want to earn rewards for doing that. So you have to be able to measure and validate the output or what's actually being used. So it's not that like you don't want to have it a system where you can lie and say, oh, I'm providing, let's just do the storage one because that's a little bit easier, I think, to comprehend. I am providing 1 terabyte of space when actually you've only provided 1 gigabyte of space. So you have to be able to detect that you didn't lie. And so then you have to have different validation mechanisms in place to validate that one specific node on the network is behaving as you expect it to behave so that the system functions in a decentralized structured way. So this is where DePIN is useful, is you can create complex heterogeneous systems with lots of different nodes contributing in lots of various different ways. And then you can validate that they are indeed truthfully and behaving appropriately in the complex network of devices that are producing some type of overall value for an end consumer. And so all that to say, DePIN is you have a device that's doing a service, and then you have a decentralized mechanism of validating that the devices are doing what they're supposed to be doing and provisioning activity across a complex network of devices.
Nice. That is by far the most comprehensive and beautiful explanation of DePIN. I remember there's this period where I couldn't remember what I was like, DePIN. What does it stand for? What does it stand for? But no, like the complexity. Thank you, man. That's awesome. Huh.
It's complicated. It can get pretty complex because of the amount of use cases that you can potentially use for it. But it pretty much bottles down to you have a hardware device that's connected to the internet, and it can do something of value to an end user. Whether it's training an AI model, detecting the weather, mapping, taking image mapping, detecting some radio frequency, providing radio frequencies like Wi-Fi, for example, or a cell phone service. So it's basically, you have a device that's performing a service, and you need to be able to have, the reason you wouldn't want to have just to get back to this other thing where you could have a centralized provider of this. So yes, you can have a centralized way of doing this or a decentralized way of doing this. And so the centralized way of doing it would be you provide the issues with the centralized way is you kind of can lack incentives. So let's take an example with plane data. So everybody knows like FlightAware, things like this, where you can actually get devices that are going to pick up and detect the plane messages. But one of the things that people want is rewards for doing that. That's where a company like Wingbits, which is a DePIN, has their own network that you can participate in, and then you earn rewards for detecting and providing the data. So you have an incentive, a token incentive, that translates to real world economic value based on the data that you're collecting, which is transmissions from the aircraft. So if you don't have that, you can have a centralized company like a FlightAware or somebody in that vein who they actually do provide devices, and people do voluntarily, because it's a fun project. You can set up an antenna. It's not too hard to do. I have one right here next to me, but it's like less than $50 to set up an antenna and start getting data from airplanes. Anybody can do it. But if you want to start earning money on it, there is more of an incentive to participate in a decentralized network doing this. For a centralized network, you either have to have one centralized body that's then paying a bunch of people, or in a less than efficient manner, or you're doing it for free. You're providing free work.
Mm-hmm. Tiny question: is there anything that hasn't taken off with or utilizing DePIN that you're genuinely like surprised it hasn't taken off yet because it's so obvious, or is it everything?
What do you mean surprised?
Well, I guess like I don't know. Like I find like for example, my first encounter with DePIN was with SETI. I believe SETI, the search for extraterrestrial life, and it was a decentralized computing thing so that they could interpret all the crazy space noise. And basically they were paying people in tokens for that, but for already starting many years ago. I guess if there's any use case that you're like, it's just so obvious that you're surprised it isn't already happening.
Well, there's my company, so that's one. But I think the biggest issue is more the difficulty level. So it's not that it's like, oh, I'm surprised it's not happening. It's more like, all right, who's crazy enough to do this kind of thing.
Mm.
So a lot of the DePINs right now, it's like, yeah, this is the future, but there's a lot of work to make it a reality. And so that's really kind of the interesting thing right now, is what I would say in the DePIN space is like any project that's like worth it. Like I don't want to dive too deep into that conversation, but anybody who's actually trying to build something of value has a huge undertaking ahead of them. It's unfortunately not, if you're in crypto for the get rich quick scheme side of it, it's not really a good path for that. It's definitely like a long-term value accumulation focus kind of side to it. So if there's any DePIN that seems like a get rich quick scheme, I just wouldn't trust it at all, because it would be there's no DePIN that's going to be that easy. It's going to be either operating in a sense of long-term gains, or you might get lucky with some weird pump and dump hype phase. But generally speaking, a lot of the people who are building like really valuable DePINs are like in it for the long haul, focus on building utility, building a future that's different than the one we have, that democratizes a lot of the access to really producing value through machines.
This was hands down the best DePIN explanation I ever gotten.
Thanks.
We need to clip this.
Yeah, no, we can.
Yeah.
Then it goes in a book.
Or you should write a book.
Wow.
Tristan, let's go.
I don't know if I can write a book.
Because he has plenty of time, just so much time.
You're speaking 5 languages. You can translate it in 5 languages directly afterwards.
I don't know.
I was just gonna say you could write it in all of them.
I mean, like, I'd probably want to like double check everything I'm saying, make sure everything's factually 100% correct, have like sources
what
and everything. And
editors
that's just a
are
really
for.
big undertaking. Yeah, true.
You have a whole team. Nobody does it alone. So
Makes sense.
Mhm.
peer pressure. Write a book.
I've wanted
Consensus.
to write a book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did we mention that you're into space in the same way that I felt compelled to mention that Lukas is into music, that you're into outer space, and your company does that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm into space. If you follow me on X, like half my posts or more are about space. So follow me for your daily dose of space content. But yeah, that is the focus. I also do music too, by the way. I am also a musician, but I unfortunately have not had a lot of time for the music side. It has not been on my priority list, unfortunately.
But last year at Catstambul at the Jupiter conference, he was the one DJing, right? At the party.
Who knew? I was super surprised. I was like, wait, just
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, DJing is cool. But I mean, like, guitar is really fun, and piano. I really like those two a lot.
We should do a super team band.
We've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few musicians in the super team.
Yeah.
We should do a super team death metal band.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Lukas will be on vocals, of course.
Yes. Totally. Hmm. Whew. Oh my gosh. Okay. Jess, I feel like I want to know more about your approach to bringing the Product Guild into the world. And I don't know, Product Guild is also a great mystery to me, in a way, because it sort of exposes, I mean, it demystifies a lot of the inner workings of bringing ideas into reality, right? But yeah, you've been doing this for a while now, and you also teach, and even some of your students have, like, I would say, excelled in our space, which is super amazing to see. Yeah, I guess, but it's all kind of happened in like a shortish amount of time, I would say, like maybe within the past year and a half.
Yeah, I started the Product Guild, I think about this time last year, and I actually haven't done an episode in a while just because I wasn't sure of what kind of direction we wanted to take it in. But I started the Product Guild because I'd actually completely fallen out of love with design. And that has been 20 years of my life, from being a book cover designer, speaking of books. I owned a publishing company, was a book cover designer, was a textile designer for a while, did UX UI. I have a master's in UX UI, and then I topped it up with a certificate boot camp as well after. I don't want to say how long SAT will age me, but I topped it up just to stay up to date with current trends, with the boot camp. And I really started to fall out of love with design. So I thought, I'm not going to design anymore. I went more back into like BD communications, but I started the guild because I wanted to keep talking about it, and I wanted to keep the skills fresh, and I wanted to interview people that were excelling in design and that did love design. And I think in a lot of the episodes, I've been quite open with that as well. And it's been great. And I think what's really interesting over the last year is we've seen AI go from not being a threat to knowing it would be a threat to absolutely being able to design what looks like a quality page, what looks like a quality website. And unless you actually know the design and you can't pick up on the absence of microcues or filtering or broken movement patterns, So I think in terms of the product guild, it is a mystery to many people. And I think what gets a lot of us down and why I wanted to do the guild was we have to fight for the research end so much. And that's the most important part, because it's not just about the end result. It's about the 50 steps underneath that no one sees, like any product, whether that's music or whether that's writing or whether that's an artwork. Nobody sees the hours an artist put into studying the form or researching the way a body moves or researching, practicing scales in music. And a lot of what we do in developing a product is the research, is the how is this component going to return information? What is a logical page structure? What do the users really want? Can my mom use the website? Things like that. Most of the time, my mom cannot use the website. She called me the other day, like asking if she should hit the red X. And I'm like, Mom, clearly a red X means no, don't do that. So I wanted to demystify that, because my goal for the Product Guild, in honesty, was not to speak to designers solely, but also to talk to founders and product owners and project managers so they could better understand the process and open the doors for designers and researchers to have a better standing in the company room at that table. And we have a large amount of people that watch the episodes who are CEOs, who are founders, who are coders, who want to learn how to work with a designer more, or also how to just streamline processes. Because there have been times when I've gone into meetings where we've been doing like user flow maps, where we're just mapping out where the breakpoints are. And I've had people within, those rooms get confused of, well, why weren't you designing buttons? Well, we can't, design the placement of a button until we figure out where things are broken. So there's a lot of steps that don't look like design that actually are design. And the more that founders and managers understand these, the non-design team, then the better the communication opens up. So I think that was really my kind of end goal, also, is to shed light into how to better work with designers, and also how designers can better work with founders. And we've had amazing teams on. Min and Phil from Airfoil have come on. Phil's come on quite a few times. We've had the amazing team at Braille on, and then some just absolute amazing designers that are killing it right now all around. And it's been such a pleasure to talk to them and get a little bit deeper, and maybe not just talk about what makes good design, but how can we make the process easier for the team overall. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why the Product Guild has done fairly well. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we can bring it back with this year, with all of the changes, and how to incorporate AI, and how to keep having those conversations, and how to recognize when AI has holes in the design, and just strengthen that all around. So, yeah.
It's funny, like, yeah. No, it's been such a, the AI thing. I mean, I love everything. Like you, when you said you've fallen out of love with design, that's like, it almost like hurts to hear, but then like you've also like doubled down and sort of like just really literally changed with the times, because the AI boom has caused, I'd imagine, a myriad challenges for design as we all vibe code our way into the weird new world.
I've actually liked it a little bit more now with vibe coding, to be honest with you.
Really?
I'll get on there and I'll be like, do this for me, and it comes out with something. And I feel like it's more exciting to try to figure out what it did wrong, or have it cut out some of the steps that even I myself don't like doing.
Okay, sure.
Because I love the research end so much more. Like when it comes to product design, my goal is always to build the best product, not necessarily build someone's vision for what they think the best product is. And that's a really hard conversation to have when someone says, I want this product, and you're like, great idea, but we have problems here, and we're gonna need to research here first. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. And I think designers, a lot of times when we bring up these areas of we're going to have problems here, it's seen as insubordination or challenging, people that know more than us. And so it's an interesting time for sure, because we can return information more quickly. Yeah.
I find that super interesting. Is there maybe like a maybe typical product mistake that most of them, if they don't think about this, do? And also additionally, after you have the users, that there's a typical mistake that only then shows if you don't talk to them.
Yeah, how to move backwards. A lot of people are really good at moving someone through a website. They don't think of all the ways that a person might want to move back through a website. And then they also don't look at micro cues. And in terms of micro cues, the small subconscious cues that we know are there that we think are unimportant, that we miss, or bad call to actions, or bad menus. And Phil and I actually had a really interesting conversation about menus one time, because he said, stop using hamburger menus. I'm like, but what are we going to use on a mobile, if we don't have hamburger menus? And that was an interesting conversation. But I think for me, the big one that I can tell is, if somebody hasn't spent time on the research end, is we don't look at how to take people backwards through the site. Not everybody moves forward, and not everybody has a linear path. And the number one mistake you can make is thinking how the user is going to use the website, because they will use it 20 different other ways. And everyone is conditioned by how they came into the internet, what kind of browser they use, cultural norms. Like when I came to Germany, I was shocked at how much information they put on a homepage. I just wanted
Women's love to read.
Yeah, I just wanted to buy dog food. I didn't need the story of the history of every single company in that dog food options. Like, I just wanted pictures of dog food. But Germany was very information dense, whereas the US is very visual dense. And that was really interesting to me. So how people use a website can also depend on culture and societal norms or access to technology. So a lot of countries are mobile first. Younger generations are mobile first. You could be a young dev, but designing for boomers. And so they need a different a flow point. And I think the hardest conversations I've had are where people assume that because they are a developer, they know the best option for the product. And I think the best thing you can do is try to break it. And that generally comes from not being able to move back. Nobody really hits the back in the browser, so even if we look at the StreamYard setup right now, you have so many options to move. You've got the breadcrumbing at the top. You can go back in so many different ways. So.
Nice.
Moving back, and can my mom use it? Super important.
Yeah. But we don't move back in life. We only move forwards.
Boom.
Mic drop.
And I will tell you, with AI, don't trust the mobile either. Like, design mobile first and then go to desktop. But if you go desktop to mobile, it never works. So still,
Really?
Even though you're doing it in AI, still please product test it before putting it out.
So much alpha in this episode here.
Desktop to mobile, it doesn't work.
It's not. I think it's interesting, right? Because I know a couple of us in this room are of the same. I don't want to date all of us, but when I went to college, we didn't really have internet the first time. We didn't have internet in our dorms. Like in high school, we had one computer lab. It wasn't. So we've seen the progression all around, and so I think we use it differently as well. So it's been interesting.
Yep. Now, there was internet. There just wasn't anything on it. Sad.
It was decentralized. No.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a long journey. Yeah. I do have a few slides that I wanted to share that are not even, they're just info slides. So if we want to take a tiny moment to have a look at those that are not even no big deal, but I do want to make sure that some people are aware. If I share screen. All right. Here we go. Just so that people, okay, so I don't know. Oh crap! I could have totally messed this up.
I gotta head out now too. But
okay, all good.
Thanks for having me. And
hey,
looking
thank
forward
you so
to the guilds.
And yeah, thank you so much for joining. And we'll probably see each other IRL in the very near future, I would imagine, or at least in the near future.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
for sure. Next week at least.
Yeah. But yeah, Tristan, so much for joining, taking time out of your busy schedule, and yeah, see you soon. Cheers. No, I just there's two timely things that I just want to make sure that I was like, well, if we're gonna have a guilds at all this week, I just want to make sure that our people in our community are aware that basically NFT Paris has been canceled. This I found to be very sad because I had a great time. I don't know if either of you made it last year, but it was really awesome. So I was extremely sad to hear that they're having to cancel it. But the good news is that sorry, I'm having some issues here with the thing. Is that we've got some Mallow action going on. So basically, JT, who's been on our show a few times, and the folks from the platform Mallow are doing a show there. This link will take you to the open call for Mallow. But yeah, so regardless of whether NFT Paris is happening or not, which is not, we've got Solana presence there with a bunch of different activities with exchange art as well. And also one other thing happening in the very near future is Athens DAO. If you have time towards the end of this month, Athens DAO is on the 23rd and 24th in Athens. Especially if you're in Germany and want to get out of the deep freeze. I went last year and I had a wonderful time. Such good talks, and I would go back in a heartbeat. So those are my, I would say, three things that I just want to make sure that are on people's radar for this week here and now in our space. But yeah, too bad about NFT Paris. It was honestly, it was so cool last year. So I'm really sad about that.
Can I throw a comment on NFT Paris real quick?
Yeah. Please do.
I know you two are more entrenched in the NFT scene than I am, and I was going to go this year, and I was really looking forward to it. I actually just canceled my tickets, and it was so sad. But I just want to say for it, because we have like 100+ people watching right now. What makes me really sad about NFT Paris is we look at NFTs just kind of as the demise of NFTs overall. But when an event like this goes under, or when we're saying NFTs are dead or things like that, it takes away from the other use cases of NFTs in terms of things like proving provenance, in terms of helping artists and creators in legal lawsuits, or ownership or royalties, things like that. So I think when we're having these conversations, especially with NFT Paris going down, we need to be a little bit more, I don't know what the word I want to say is, but thinking of the other use cases in terms of NFTs, and not just as collectibles, not just as trading, but the viable side for artists as well. So NFT Paris going down for me was really sad because it took the spotlight away from actual viable use cases of NFTs.
I completely agree. And I really, I searched this real quick. And here at the end of the NFT chapter in the book, because of course for Web3, there's a whole chapter on NFTs. NFTs sind tot, lang leben NFTs. So basically NFTs are dead, long live NFTs, because maybe the name isn't there anymore in the future. And we don't have JPEGs that are worth gazillions of dollars just because they are hyped right now, because the hype phase is over. But there's so much more, like Jess just said. So it's super sad to see the event go. Although one of my favorite conferences, NFT NYC, for example, they already said we're definitely doing this. So there's still lots of great conferences only focusing on NFTs and everything that comes with that. So plus 100 on what Jess just said. Completely agree.
And I mean, there was a lot more going on at NFT Paris last year than just NFTs. I mean, we had there was the RWA Paris in parallel, and then you had, of course, like you would have at any conference, dozens of side events and amazing things all over the place. Yeah. So, not to mention Paris is just beautiful. So. Sadness, and but yeah, I don't want to diminish any of the work also happening, because obviously with all of the side events, and that's what I was posting there the QR codes that links to the JT's event with Mallow and Exchange Art, two of the most active platforms on Solana for creatives. They're not canceling their stuff. They're going forward, and they're gonna have a bunch of really amazing events. So despite the main attraction not being there, there's still going to be a lot of cool stuff to see and do. So yeah, I'm now on the fence about that. So anyway, that's not happening till at least February 5th. So it gives you a little minute to sort of think. And Paris isn't that far away, but yeah, no, super sad about that. And yeah, the other QR code that I posted was to Athens DAO. Super awesome. Most of the folks behind Island DAO are also the ones that organize Athens DAO, which is essentially an educational event with lots of great guest speakers. So yeah, two things to definitely consider. And that's what I'm excited about. This dark, cold, frozen Berlin winter.
So I'll be staying in cold Berlin, but looking forward to the co-working Fridays, which I think in Berlin they're resuming next Friday, again at the W3 Hub. But Jess, you're in Munich. There's also co-working Fridays, right?
Yeah, and we pick back up tomorrow at the new location. So our co-working partner has opened a Web3 and AI hub kind of on the southeast of the city. And it's really cool. We're trying to get the W3 hub vibes here in Munich. We have an amazing co-working partner here. We were telling them about the need for a central spot. I didn't expect them to run with it as quickly as they did. And the next thing I know, they said, we have a building, we've signed the lease. And I was like, cool. And it's really, really great. So we actually pick up tomorrow, 10 a.m. You can join us on Luma with Superteam DE if you would like to come down.
So if you're in the area, you should definitely go, because the teams that go to Jess co-working always participate in the hackathons and are winning, as I've heard. So it might make sense to come by.
Yeah, we only have 15 seats each week, so we have a little bit more of a limit, and we maximize those 15 seats. But we've had amazing teams come out. So if you do want to win a hackathon, we work really hard to give you the space and get you through. I'm proud of Munich, but they've done it on their own, to be honest with you. But we have an amazing set of people down here, and we're really looking forward to growing Munich and getting some of those Berlin events down here in the Alps.
Well, contact your local super team. That's the answer. And put in a request, because I know that and I think it seems like, we don't know, but it seems like there'll be more like guilds integration into IRL events this year. But we'll TBD. We'll see. So looking forward to seeing what happens. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody, any further remarks? We've already gone over our 1 hour limit, but love talking to you all. I would happily do this again, another guild at some time in the future, and I can't wait to see what everybody does this year, and it's really good to keep in touch and to sort of like see where each other are at officially.
Thank you so much for hosting this, Paul. This was great. Thanks for having us. All good.
Yeah, great idea, Paul.
Thanks, everybody. And so co-working Fridays, I think if everybody follows the Super Team channel, then they'll be posted as usual. And keep an eye out. And thanks everybody for joining the very first Guilds, and see you in the near future in IRL as well as around. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great night.
Tschüss.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Bye.